And welcome to Hannity. And tonight, the general election is only 49 days away, and Donald Trump, propelled by a wave of positive polls, he's campaigning harder than ever in all the key swing states. And earlier tonight, Trump was in North Carolina. Let's take a look.
We have to, and we don't have any choice, replace a very failed and very corrupt establishment with a new government that serves you, your family, and your country. And that's going to happen. Hillary Clinton represents insiders. She represents the donors, the politicians, the big banks, the multinational corporations, and everybody getting rich off a very rigged system, and we know that. She represents everyone responsible for the decades-long squeezing of the middle class. The middle class in this country has been treated so unfairly as jobs and wealth move to other countries. Hillary Clinton is the chief emissary for globalism. And I'm not running to be president of the world. I'm running to be president of the United States. Hillary is all of a sudden going to get tough. The debate comes and she'll say, I want strong borders. I believe she mentioned the term extreme vetting. Where did you hear extreme vetting before? Only from me. Because I made up the term. I mean, I came up. I said, we need extreme vetting to come into our country. All of a sudden, she's got extreme vetting, and she's got all of these terms. Folks, it's not going to happen. And the reason it's not going to happen is because their special interest donors, they like it when our businesses move out because they own businesses. They move to Mexico. Lots of advantages for them to do that. No advantage for our country, no advantage for our jobs.
And here with reaction, the editor-in-chief of LifeZette, Fox News contributor, nationally syndicated radio host Laura Ingraham, and Fox News contributor, also a nationally syndicated radio host, Cain. Look at this. If you go back 18 days ago, Reuters and others were predicting a landslide for Hillary, Laura. Now, 18 days later, they show this massive surge in electoral votes for Donald Trump. It's literally 243 to 242 in the Electoral College by their estimates and the polls that back it up. What has happened and where does this go?
I think pragmatism and common sense is winning the day, and I think Hillary's health stumbles certainly didn't help her at all. The more revelations we get about her dishonesty on the private server, the graft that was taking place with the Clinton Foundation, all leads voters to conclude we've had enough, more of the same, we're sick of politics as usual, let's change this up, let's switch things up with a businessman who has maybe a less ideological but more pragmatic way of handling difficult problems. And I think in the end, a lot of these voters might be swinging in that direction just because of the common sense that is involved in thinking things about refugees, Sean. When we know 5 million refugees displaced from the Middle East, a lot of them because of, frankly, failed policies of this administration. And we're supposed to now take in 100,000 plus people and think it's all going to work out well. I think people are very hesitant to do that. And Trump speaking to concerns such as that. And I think that's beginning to resonate. You
know, one of the biggest areas where we've seen a jump, Cain, is among black and Hispanic voters. He's now up 7 from where Mitt Romney was with Hispanic voters. One poll actually had him at 19 percentage points for black Americans voting for Trump. I'm going to be with him at a town hall, predominantly black Americans. He's been to black churches. He's reaching out. Polls show that Hillary's black voters are switching to Trump. That was an article in the New York Post. Obama came out harsh yesterday, says he's personally insulted by black Americans who support Trump. Trump doing better than Romney with Hispanics. What has changed here? Is it the fact that the last 8 years have not been good to the minority community?
Absolutely. In addition to what Laura said, there's one other thing that's happening. Some people are afraid to go from Hillary to Trump, so they are undecided. But the American people are not stupid. Black people are not stupid. That's why you see a surge in those numbers, and that is a good thing. People are not believing President Obama when he says, if you showed in a previous clip, that we're safer and people are more prosperous. No, we are not. They are not stupid. They are not falling for it. And as a result, that's why you see a surge in Trump's numbers, not just nationally, but also among blacks and Hispanics.
Let's go to next Monday, 6 days from now, Laura. Hillary Clinton vows to come out swinging against Donald Trump. And, okay, I don't know what that means, but she says she's not going to take any insults lying down. Why do I suspect the insults are going to be coming from her?
Don't you half expect, Sean, that the Democrats are following around David Duke with a GoPro camera, hoping that he says something that's pro-Trump, because they can then put it in one of their, ad campaigns and say, oh, the KKK likes Trump. I mean, the whole thing is so obvious. For anyone who cares to spend 5 minutes thinking about this, when you don't have a record to run on, when you have no record of accomplishment, when your record is checkered with dishonesty and misrepresentations and ethical problems, then what do you have? What do you have to do? You say, well, I sat down in the Situation Room and I flew around the world and the whole world's in flames, at least in the Middle East. What does she have to say? She has to say Donald Trump is this, that, and the other thing. Donald Trump's a racist. All those things. That's
racist,
all she
sexist,
has.
Misogynistic, homophobic, xenophobic,
so
Islamophobic.
Sean, back to the debate. I was just going to say, Trump has to remember the great moments for Reagan in these debates when they tried to do similar things to Reagan. He was stupid. He wasn't smart. He has to be like, there you go again. I mean, is that all you have? Really? That's the debate here,
See,
Hillary?
I agree with
I'm
that.
a bad person?
See, because Hillary's going to do this, and I don't think this is hard to figure out. I would anticipate this. She can't run on Libya. She can't run on Egypt. She can't run on Iraq or Iran or Afghanistan or Putin or North Korea or China. Okay, then she can't run on Obama's economic policy, which she says she's going to continue. So she can't run on honesty and trustworthiness. So what's left? Ad hominem attacks. What she said, basket of deplorables, that'll come up. The key for Trump, Herman, I think, is as she pokes and prods and aggravates and annoys and tries to piss off Trump and irritates him, she's going to try and get a reaction, get him to roll his eyes like Al Gore or get him to huff and puff. And I don't think Trump's going to fall for it. If he does, I think it'd be very foolish. He needs water off a duck's back, an impenetrable shield. Nothing she says can bother him, and he comes out a winner.
She's going to come out swinging, but the only thing that she comes out swinging with are names, name calling. And you're right. He doesn't fall for it. She's going to look very weak because he has put more substance on the table in the last several months than she has ever talked about. So, yeah, it's only up to name calling to try to provoke Trump such that he comes after her, and then the liberal media is going to try to turn it into a sexist attack. I don't think it's going to work because I don't think Trump is going to fall for it.
God forbid Donald Trump walked over like poor Rick Lazio and tried to hand the poor woman a piece of paper. The damsel in distress couldn't handle the stress of somebody getting in her space and her grill a little bit. Which I thought was absurd. All right, you agree, Laura? I mean, is that the biggest challenge? Beyond that, I would think that with all the speeches and interviews Trump has done, he doesn't really need a lot of prep. I think to cram his brain with facts and figures would be a bad strategy, in my opinion.
Yeah, the gotcha questions, you know what I would say when they start pulling the gotcha questions? Well, the Secretary of Defense of Poland, Donald, you know who that is, right? I mean, he needs to say something like, look, I'm sure Hillary knows all the names of all the government officials of every country on the planet. Because, frankly, she was probably flying around on our dime asking them for donations to Clinton Foundation. But what I know is I know solutions, okay? She knows all the minutia that I can learn with my top staff and all the focus we're going to have. I'm going to solve the problems for America. She can pass the pop quiz, but I'm going to pass the most important test, which is leadership and competency and delivering results for the American people. So he can't get sucked in to say, I don't know. He's not going to know all the minutia. If they try to pull the pop quiz, I think he can turn that on them really easily.